So Transformers War for Cybertron Chapter 1 Siege is a new Netflix series based on the Hasbro property, of course known as Transformers, and this is the first of 3 chapters coming to Netflix over the next few months and so, and this particular storyline is focusing on the very origins of the Transformers story, where we see a battle for the planet of Cybertron. On one side, the Autobots led by the valiant Optimus Prime, and on the other side you have the Decepticons led by the forever evil Megatron, and this tells the story of the final days of Cybertron, the final days of this grueling battle between the Autobots and the Decepticons, what both sides go through, and how it ultimately concludes into the next chapter of the series. This was a show I was very much looking forward to. Many of you will know Transformers is one of my favourite properties. I absolutely love Transformers. I grew up with Transformers, and the Transformers movies, despite all the hate that they get for them and the hate I get for loving them, I do absolutely adore them, and Transformers Dark of the Moon is literally my favourite movie of all time. As trash as that may be, that is the case. So I was very excited to check out this series, and I have to say, coming out of it, I did a binge watch last night. I did all 6 episodes. I loved this series. What's great about War for Cybertron is that it very much keeps the sense and style of the original G1 cartoons from back in the day, and it very much keeps that style, it keeps that mentality, but it also is a bit darker than that original series, which I really enjoyed. While I've not seen much of that original series because it was a bit before my time, I have seen clips of it here and there, and it's quite a cartoony, quite cheesy show. What I liked about War for Cybertron is that while it takes itself very seriously, it kind of works for this. It's very dark, and it actually does have stakes, which I really enjoyed, because I actually felt like there was a sense of danger in this series as I was going through episode by episode, which is something I've not felt for a while. Also, the animation style of this is beautiful. This is actually described by Netflix themselves as an anime series, and I have never watched anime before. It's never really something that's crossed my mind. It's never really something I've been particularly interested in, but obviously with the Transformers series, obviously I'm going to watch it, and it was great. It looked fantastic. The animations were smooth, they were really clean looking, they were nice, they worked. Again, it felt like G1. These were very much the G1 classic character designs that we've not seen for a while, and I think that this particular animation style is not something I would have immediately thought when it came to doing a Transformers series, but now seeing it in person and actually seeing it brought to the screen, it actually works incredibly well for this property and for this franchise. Voice work is also brilliant across the board. I think all the people who are providing the voices for the Transformers all do excellent jobs, while a big part inside of me really does miss that Peter Cullen doesn't voice Optimus Prime in this. The guy who does voice Optimus actually does a very good job with it as well, and is actually really excellent in the role. I believe that's the same guy who voiced him in the Transformers Cyberverse series, so if you knew him from that, he'll be good here as well. I do miss Peter Cullen, but as a whole, I love the voice cast, and I think they all do an excellent job. One of my favourite things about this series is that this is the most well-realised and fleshed out interpretation of Cybertron that I've ever seen. Cybertron to me has always kind of been pitched as this place that, yeah, it's the Transformers homeworld, and yes, it was this place of robotic advance, and it was always that to me. What this series does a really good job of establishing, which I've never really gotten from any other form of Transformers media before, is it really established Cybertron as this actual home for this, species, and I've never really gotten that before, and I know it's always been that. Like, I know that that is what Cybertron is. Like, of course, it's what Earth is to us. Cybertron is the Transformers, but I just never really saw this sort of society there. And there's even a conversation between Elita 1 and Optimus Prime where they talk about this place that they go into, and it's a theatre. Like, it used to be a theatre before the war, and they talk about how this place would have been booming before the War of Cybertron, and I thought that was really good, because I've just never really thought of Cybertron in that way, and the design of it looks fantastic. Again, you can kind of see within that context that these big buildings and these wrecks and things like that are fallout of this war, because before the war this place was a thriving, beautiful planet. And again, I've never really seen that side of Cybertron before, but this series really brings it out, and I've really never really gotten to understand truly the life on Cybertron before the war, but this series does that. Also, this series makes a lot of really interesting choices with certain characters from the cast, and I'm not going to go into it because of spoilers, but there's a lot of really interesting choices done with these characters that are really different from what we've seen before, and it just made it really interesting to actually go into the series and watch it, because I was expecting certain things from certain characters and I thought we were going to be retreading a lot of steps. However, the series actually goes in a completely different direction for a lot of the different characters, and I really appreciated that because it made it feel different, it made it feel fresh, and as a Transformers fan, a lifelong Transformers fan, it made it fresh and interesting to me, who I thought I knew these characters going in, but they actually do something completely different and completely new with them, so it kept it exciting for me and, you know, for new fans as well. Also, what I really loved about this series is that I loved how short it was. It was just 6 episodes, they're all under half an hour each. You can literally get this whole series done and binged in less than 3 hours, and that's incredible. I think that this is such a great little series to just blast through. Again, I did it last night all in one sitting, and I absolutely loved it like that. It felt like a mini Transformers animated movie, and obviously we are getting a Transformers animated movie in the next couple of years from Toy Story 4 director Josh Cooley, which is also going to be set on Cybertron. But I don't know if it's going to capture the same level of character and world building that this series does. And I think that, you know, that real short runtime, it does feel like a little movie, and it just works so well for this. And obviously, this isn't the end of this series. We are getting a Chapter 2 and a Chapter 3, and of course the ending of this series, no spoilers, does sort of lean into that next series very much so. But I do really enjoy the fact that this was 6 episodes. It's pretty self-contained. You can jump into it without really knowing anything about Transformers and still really enjoy what this has to offer. And then if you like it, you've still got 2 more chapters to come. So overall, I absolutely loved Transformers War for Cybertron Siege. I thought this was such a great series so far. And again, we're only a quarter of the way through. We've got another 3 episodes, or another 2 chapters, sorry, to dive into, which we're not quite sure when they're going to come out yet, but they'll be within the next, you know, sort of year or so. But I loved this series. Again, it did such a good job of establishing Cybertron as this place that was actually full of life and full of character before this war eventually broke out. I also loved what it did with the characters. Again, so many surprising reveals, so many surprising moments that really kept a Transformers fan like myself on my toes, and the animation is beautiful, the voice work is fantastic. It's just a very enjoyable, very digestible watch that I had a great time watching, not only just as a fan of TV and as a fan of Netflix, but also as a Transformers fan. I was left completely and utterly satisfied by this series, and I'll probably end up watching it again before the next series comes out. So if you're a Transformers fan or not, I highly recommend this series. And with all that said, given the fact that I really have no negatives, I'm going to give Transformers War for Cybertron Chapter 1 Siege a 5 out of 5. I thought this was a tremendous series. Again, I had such a blast with it. I really enjoyed it. And again, I will probably check it out again on a rewatch at some time soon. But have you guys seen Transformers War for Cybertron Chapter 1 Siege? If you have, make sure to let me know all your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Did you enjoy it, or do you think the anime style wasn't really a good fit for Transformers? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, guys, if you want to see more movie reviews, TV reviews, and Netflix reviews just like this one, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me. And I hope to see you guys again next time.